You know, it's amazing, isn't it? All this medical technology we're seeing pop up.
It really is something.
Like just the other day, I read about this pacemaker, a pacemaker of all things,
Mhm.
that can like adjust itself based on how active you are.
Yeah,
It really makes you realize how much things are advancing, you know?
it's incredible, and it makes you really wonder about all the people behind the scenes making it happen.
Exactly. So that's what we're digging into today, right? The who behind the wow,
Hmm.
specifically medical device engineering technicians.
That's right, because it's easy to get caught up in the headlines,
Right.
but behind every robotic surgery, every life-saving implant, there's a technician making sure those devices are more than just, a fancy prototype.
Okay, so not your average IT fixing printers in the back office.
No, no, not at all. This is a whole different ballgame.
So paint me a picture. What's a typical day like for them? And I say typical loosely, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah, typical might not be the right word because variety is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's anything but a desk job. One day you might be calibrating an infusion pump, working right alongside nurses in a busy hospital.
Wow.
The next, you could find yourself troubleshooting imaging software for a brand new MRI machine at some high-tech manufacturing plant.
Sounds like they get around. I bet you have to be pretty adaptable to handle all that.
You got it. This is a job for people who thrive in different settings and aren't afraid of a challenge.
So we've got all this amazing tech, different work environments. What about the skills?
The million-dollar question.
Right. What does someone actually need to be good at to cut it in this field?
Well, RoleCatcher, the career guide we're looking at, they emphasize a few key things. Maintenance, repairing, troubleshooting. Those come up again and again. But,
But there's always a but, right?
right, it's not just about being handy with a screwdriver. Think about repairing a surgical robot.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little more high stakes than fixing a toaster.
Exactly. You need in-depth knowledge and understanding of mechanics, software, you name it. It's about connecting the dots, not just tightening a loose screw. You really have to think critically about why something failed, not just how to fix it.
So it's less about knowing how to fix every single thing and more about that problem-solving mindset.
Exactly. It's almost like being a detective. You're investigating, figuring out the why behind the what, and sometimes even having to invent your own solutions.
And speaking of crucial, RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from saying this field, it's booming, right? The job outlook for these technicians, it's looking pretty good, but they would say that, wouldn't they? It's a career guide. So what's your take from what you see actually happening out there?
Oh, they're not exaggerating.
Mm-hmm.
The demand is definitely there, and it makes sense if you think about it.
How so?
Well, we talked about all the advancements in medical tech, right? Pacemakers that adjust on the fly, surgical robots, all that.
Right, it's not slowing down anytime soon.
Exactly. Plus, you've got an aging population, more people needing more complex medical care. It all adds up to a real need for skilled technicians who can keep these devices running smoothly.
So job security isn't really a question then, it seems. But then that begs the question, with all these people gunning for these roles, how do you stand out?
That's the key, isn't it? Anyone can have a degree, but what really sets someone apart is, well, RoleCatcher puts it, well, actually hands-on experience.
They did emphasize that, yeah, internships, personal projects, even volunteering. That's a pretty wide range.
It is, but it shows you're serious,
Yeah.
that you've actually gotten your hands dirty, so to speak.
So it's not just about ticking boxes on a resume. It's about proving you can actually walk the walk.
Exactly. It's one thing to ace a test on how a biomedical device works, but it's another thing entirely to have actually troubleshooted it in a real-world setting.
I see your point. Okay, let's say you've landed the job. You're officially a medical device engineering technician. What's next? Is it just like years of the same thing? Or is there room to grow, to learn new things, take on more responsibility?
Oh, definitely room to grow.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher does a good job breaking down the career path, the different stages you might go through.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of career.
Nope, not at all. You usually start at the entry level, kind of getting a feel for things, shadowing more experienced technicians. You might assist with routine maintenance, things like that.
Getting your feet wet.
Exactly. Then, as you gain experience, you move up to junior technician, where you're trusted with more hands-on tasks, like troubleshooting common issues, even maybe leading some small repairs.
Okay, some more responsibility.
Absolutely. And finally, you reach the top, senior technician.
The guru.
Pretty much. You're the go-to expert overseeing those complex installations, managing the trickier repairs on the really sensitive equipment. You might even be mentoring the newer technicians, guiding them along.
Wow, so you really see it all from those first days on the job to becoming the one everyone relies on. Sounds like a pretty rewarding path, honestly. But let's shift gears a bit because before you can even think about becoming a senior technician, you have to actually land that first job. And that's often the trickiest part, isn't it? Even when you have the skills, getting your foot in the door, that's where RoleCatcher, well, that seems to be their bread and butter, helping people navigate that whole job search process.
Yeah, they really lean into that. And, it makes sense, right?
How so?
Think about it. Most people, when they're job hunting, they're kind of guessing, trying to figure out what employers want to see, what those magic keywords are.
Oh, absolutely. You're always second guessing your resume.
Exactly. And that's where RoleCatcher, they've got this AI that digs through tons of job descriptions, and it pulls out those hidden keywords, those skills gaps that employers might not even mention outright.
So it takes the guesswork out of it. You're not just throwing things at the wall and hoping something sticks.
Right. You're tailoring your application to what they actually want, even if they don't say it directly. But it doesn't stop there. Let's say you've got the interview. Now what?
Oh, the dreaded interview.
Yeah, that's where their interview question library comes in. Now, they brag about having over 100,000 questions or something like that.
Yeah, they mentioned that. I was like, who has time for that?
Right, it's overwhelming. But the thing is, they tailor those questions to your specific career path. So you're not getting grilled on things that don't even apply to you.
It's all about working smarter, not harder. I like it.
Exactly. Plus, you get AI feedback on your answers. It's like having a personal coach, but, without the awkward small talk.
That's always a plus. Okay, so to wrap things up, it sounds like whether you're using RoleCatcher or another resource, the key takeaway here is to be prepared, be proactive, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
I couldn't agree more. It's a competitive field, but with the right skills, the right attitude, and the right preparation, there's a world of opportunity out there for aspiring medical device engineering technicians.
Absolutely. And on that note, we'll leave you with this thought as you explore the world of medical technology and this exciting career path. Remember that behind every piece of equipment, every technological advancement, there is a human story waiting to be impacted. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.